Heat 8. On the inside we have Sam Nicolaisen, who certainly has been fired by that early exclusion. He won his last race looking a real pocket full of dynamite. Only 4'10", but what a goer this lad. So Heat 8, every race now is so vitally important. Away this time, and up on the inside, it's Miller who shows. Miller shows. Second place is Nicolaisen. Third place is King, and this is a bit more like it for Coventry. And here comes Lance King challenging hard around the outside of Nicolaisen. What a start from Miller from grid 3. And now Nicolaisen will try and run King out wide. He's looking for him. And this is just what the Bees wanted, because if they stay like this, it will level it all up here at Heat 8. This is Rick Miller, who took his time to settle in British Speedway, but my, the lad has improved since the last time we saw him. He really is stretching them. And Lance King, the Californian, who is indeed an intercontinental finalist, has shown nothing at all of the form that won him the Golden Hammer. He really has been left in the wake of the Coventry pairing here around the last corner. And just listen to the Brandon faithful applaud Rick Miller and Sam Nicolaisen. Well, the very personable Rick Miller milking the applause as well he might. He's a nice lad, this. He's become a great favourite here. And so that most business-like 5-1 Heat win by Coventry draws them back level at Heat 8. 24 all locked together, and what a climax we're going to have. Well, perhaps the key figure in this fixture is Steve Bastable, because he hasn't scored yet for Coventry, which is a disappointment on that super-tuned new bike. Didn't look too super-tuned to us, and now he has switched back onto one of his reserve machines. And it could be a telling factor the way this British League fixture goes, just how well he will respond, because Bastable unquestionably on his night has the beating of anybody in the world. Former British champion, whose points tally so far has really been the Achilles heel in the Bees' attack. So there's Steve Bastable, and Coventry will be looking to him here to pick up his performance. Across the lineup on the inside, Peter Rawn with 4 points for Cradley in yellow and black. Then Bastable in blue in grid 2. Grid 3 has Eric Gunderson with 5 points, a win and a second place. And on the outside, Tommy Knudsen unbeaten and looking really in the most prodigious form. He's come from the back, he's looked good up front. The wrist injury doesn't seem to be troubling him at all, and showing all the form that took him to third place in that famous Bruce Pennell World Final at Wembley. The last one, incidentally, that will ever be staged, which is a great shame. Knudsen, we know, is world class. The scores are level 24 each. Really, the stage set for a theatrical finish to yet another tremendously memorable local derby between Coventry and Cradley. Here we go for heat number 9. It looks like Bastable's burning coal down there. The tapes have been broken. Now, the tapes have been broken, and really somebody should come out, and we'll look to see what the referee, Trevor Chamberlain, and he has ruled all 4 back in. And that tape breaking has given Steve Bastable a fresh chance to consider his mechanical problems. The mechanics working frantically. It looks like the magic box coming off, and Bastable's gone to the pits for the spare bike. So Bastable on yet another machine. And now Olsen has got another bike ready for Bastable. And I think they've got his reserve bike ready. We saw them changing the ignition box. So Bastable, well, is changing mounts more regularly than Lester Piggott. And down in the pits there is Gary Nealon with the man who knows all the moves. That's team manager Mick Bell. Gary, over to you.
Mick Bell, Coventry team manager. What exactly was all that drama about?
Well, Stevie's been having a lot of bike problems, and his ignition box was playing up there, and we just changed the box for him. But in the meantime, Ollie lent him his own bike, just in case he couldn't do it in time, you see.
Has Ollie just gone back on his own bike?
Yes, he has. So Steve's on his own bike there now.
It has been increasingly important to make the start. We have noticed that this perfectly prepared Brandon circuit. When a rider gets in front, he doesn't normally make mistakes. Gunderson again is impatient, and tapes were definitely broken there, and there must be a guilty culprit for the second time, and it is Gunderson in white and red, the two riders. Well, this is a surprise. Gunderson goes, and the red light is also on. Well, now we are going to have some theatricals, because both the heat leaders, Gunderson in white and Knudsen, have been excluded for breaking the tapes. Let's have another look at the second tape break. They're on the outside, remember, white and red. Now, who is the guilty man? You can see Gunderson's pushing them. Gunderson pushes them. Now, they're still stood still, and then they go again. And it looked as though Knudsen was tempted through, and you can see Gunderson there in grid 3 has also moved. So a dramatic decision by the referee, 2 only in the restart of heat 9. There's Tommy Knudsen on the phone to the referee. Knudsen obviously unhappy about that, but our evidence showed that certainly it would seem that he was tempted through, maybe by Gunderson.
But Eric Gunderson, who can show you it again. Eric, how did you see it?
Well, you know, everything is getting a bit tense now, you know, because it took so long for Steve Bastable to get ready. And we're really getting revved up now, you know. I mean, we want to get going, and both of us touched the tapes, you know, and I think both of us was to blame, you know, and that's why the referee has put us out.
Tommy?
Well, you know, as Eric said, we were both in them, but I still reckon Eric was in them first. But I think we should both be in the race anyway. He can't exclude 2 of us.
What he's done here.
Yeah. Well, I just went on the phone to him, but he won't speak to me, so there's nothing I can do.
Well, coming in to replace Eric Gunderson, we have Jan Peterson, and Peterson hasn't had much of a night, really. Just 1 point from 2 starts, so again, heat 9 could have a vitally important effect on the overall result of this fixture. We saw that Rick Miller, in his last ride, who's coming in for Knudsen, won most impressively. He has 4 points so far. So let's have a look at the revised lineup across the starting grid. On the inside, in yellow, we have Peter Rawn for Cradley. Next to him now, Steve Bastable in blue. Then in white, coming in for Eric Gunderson, it's Jan Oswald Peterson in white. And on the outside, it's Rick Miller. And we'll keep an eye on Miller from the start, because he was really slippy away from those tapes on his last outing. 24-24, we remind you the score. And as Eric Gunderson said, we're all getting fired up out there as the climax to this British League fixture approaches. Here we go for heat 9, 3rd time of asking. And let's hope we get him away cleanly this time. Away they go, and again Miller, it seems, has got the jump now from the inside of this Rawn, and coming hard around into is Bastable. Bastable and Miller, the Bees 1-2. And Steve Bastable looks to have got the bike, beating sweetly this time. So it is the Bees up front, Bastable inside, Miller now roaring around the outside, looking most impressive. And way back it's Peterson. And so Coventry have turned this British League match on its head with a 5-1 last heat. Looks like they're going to get another one here unless something terribly unexpected happens. And Rick Miller, this very likeable Californian who took, as Gary Newborn said, a lot of unfair stick early on, is becoming the hero of the night. And there are many in Speedway who will applaud that. And so again, the Coventry crowd, who were getting a little bit desperate, are now on their feet, and just listen as they acclaim their lads over the line for the 2nd consecutive maximum heat win. Well, what a difference a couple of races can make. Coventry now have reversed the scoreline. They are now 4 in front. Coventry 29, Cradley Heath 25, and now we look to the Heathens to respond. Well, an almost tropical sunset. You can see our cameraman basking in the sultry evening, and though the temperature might be dropping meteorologically, it's beginning to go up through the roof out there on the track, because we have 4 to go, and Coventry now 4 in front. Interesting to record that their relative newcomers, Sam Nicolaisen and Rick Miller, unbeaten in their last 4 races, which really has turned this British League match around. And Nicolaisen is in here again in heat 10. He'll be on the inside. Let us have a look at the lineup from the inside. Nicolaisen, who has won his last 2 races, paid for a win anyway in one of them, so he's unbeaten by a rival in his last 2. Next to him, Alan Graham, who really is a merciless customer, who ruthlessly moves his opponents aside. He's only a slight little lad, but he really does get stuck in. Ollie Olsen in grid 3 will be anxious to atone for a coconut he collected last time out. And on the outside, Phil Collins, who has a 2nd place and a 3rd to his credit from his 2 starts. And Olsen, the wily old fox, is just trying to calm things down, perhaps for himself, and to increase the tension for his rivals. Alan Graham, who's nobody's fool, goes with him. You can see there, Phil Collins just allowing the clutch to cool down, taking the rear wheel off the shell. And really, you sincerely could boil an egg on the atmosphere out there. Here we go for heat 10. Nicolaisen inside, next to him Graham. Grid 3 Olsen, outside Phil Collins. 29-25 the score in Coventry's favour. 4 heats to go. This is heat 10. And they are straining at the leash. And again, it is the Coventry pairing who show. Although Olsen got a knock at the first turn, it's Nicolaisen in front. 2nd place is Graham, 3rd is Olsen at the back. It is Collins, and Olsen won't be happy with being squeezed up there, but Nicolaisen is riding the race of his life as Phil Collins charges hard under Ollie Olsen. Nicolaisen stood in front. He's lost his helmet colour, but it is the little Dane. 2nd place is Graham. Olsen has Phil Collins bursting, thrusting, trying to get through on the inside of him. What a little fireball Nicolaisen's turned out to be. Says he was knocked off in his first ride, and he's grown in stature since that moment. Hasn't been beaten by a Cradley rider, and he's heading home England international Alan Graham. Time to look over his shoulder almost impotently. Could be Coventry's match winner, little Sam Nicolaisen. He wins heat 10, 2nd place Graham, 3rd Olsen. Takes them 6 points up, and Nicolaisen again. He's loving it, every moment of it. Only 4'10", but every inch pure TNT. Marvellous moment there between the old master and really the young contender. And Ollie is absolutely proud of his young protege, no question of that.